Okay, now let's move on to the intermediate. We're gonna skip the board setup because you're gonna learn that as you play more games. So let's move on to castling. So castling is a special move to hide your king. So as you can see, I can move my king 2 squares and that would put the rook over. And you have to know the conditions for castling, which are that there mustn't be any pieces here, so you have to first move out the knight and the bishop. Also, the king and the rook cannot move in this game before castling. So for example, if before in this game I moved the king up and then the king back down, then castling isn't possible. And also another condition, for example, if this bishop was the black bishop, so if black bishop was here instead of my bishop, then the black bishop would be attacking this square, and then castling wouldn't be possible. So these are all the conditions, and here all the conditions are met, so we can castle. This one is a queenside castle, so castling on the other side. It's the same as queenside, as kingside, but you also have to move the queen out. So here we also castle. Now let's move on to en passant. This is a special move, and it only works when the opponent's pawn moves 2 squares forward, and then the pawns are like sitting together, and then you can take it like that. So we can take it here, en passant. And it only works, so here is an example of that, when the opponent just moved the pawn, then you can en passant. If you make a random move, then en passant isn't possible anymore. So in this case, I cannot en passant because he did that on a previous turn. And this one I can do because he just moved that. So I can take. Now let's do another one. Here I cannot en passant because the pawns aren't together like these two. So this one I cannot take. But with this one, with the c pawn, I can take. Now let's look at the stalemate. Now stalemate is almost a checkmate, but it's not. It's a draw because the king is not attacked. So let's see at the squares on which this king can move. So the rook is covering this file, and if we move the bishop here, then the bishop would be controlling this square. Now the king cannot move anywhere, but it's not attacked. If it was a checkmate, the king would also be attacked, but here it's not, so that's why this is a stalemate. And obviously black doesn't have any other pieces, so the only legal move would be to move the king, but it cannot go anywhere because all of the squares are covered. So bishop here is stalemate. This one, so this knight is controlling these two. If you move the other knight to f4, this would be a stalemate. The pawn cannot move because the king is in the way. The king cannot go anywhere because all of these squares are covered. So this is also a stalemate because the king is not attacked. If, for example, there was a bishop here that would be attacking the king, then this would be a checkmate.